Bum, 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 bum. Oh wait, that we have music that plays that, Ben. No, I don't have to sing it. Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of
I'm wondering if we
Anthony.
should change the intro so you actually sing it rather than we use that jingle thingy.
I mean, let me get enough caffeine in me, and things can happen. But welcome to the next episode of Anthony and Ben talk about SQL Server
SQL Server
2025.
2025.
Ba-da-ba-da-bum. All right, so in the previous episode, Ben, we showed folks the importance of Azure Arc. We discussed the importance of managed
Well, the
identities.
second to previous episode, but
Who's counting? Always, it's
I
always
am.
an
I
off
mean,
by
I
one.
recently did the math on how many former New Stars of Data speakers spoke at 8 KB, so
You did,
I'm a data
you
person.
did, but it's always an off by one error. Always an off by one error. But let's talk about what we're going to talk about today, Ben. I think we're going to leverage the managed identity feature new to SQL Server 2025 to
Correct.
unlock some interesting workflows and up level our security game in terms of authentication in our platform. So why don't we kick it off, Ben? What do we got today?
Nice. So I'm
Malta.
back in VS Code. I left the Azure portal
Okay.
to go back to some good old T-SQL. So
Wait a
as
minute.
we've seen in many of the previous episodes, yes.
Azure Data Studio?
I said VS Code. I left the Azure
I-
portal. I
Oh.
left Azure Data Studio in episode 1 because you were not nice about it. So
Always nice, Ben.
I'm creating a new database here, calling it Backup Restore.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I did in advance is I created a storage account in Azure because what I want to do today is I want to do backup to URL, which you can do to an Azure storage account, for example. So we actually have some data to back up. I'm going to create some sample data here. That code may look oddly familiar to you from one of the previous episodes. It's the exact same one I was using when we did the S3 storage thingy. So let's jump over to the Azure portal real quick. So this is my storage account. I got my storage browser here. Got a blob container where I create a container called backup. I uploaded AdventureWorks in there, so we can restore from that. Nothing else in here. There's nothing to see here. These are not the databases you're looking for. And then I'm dropping my credential if it exists because I want to show you first what's happening if I do not have any credential against that. So just to see there's no voodoo happening here. So I'm doing backup database, backup restore, the one we just created, to URL. This is the name of my storage account, including a file, including my bucket, compression stats format. We want to overwrite in case, firing that off. And what it's telling me is the specified network password is not correct. And that is because we do not have a credential against it.
Okay.
If you're getting not error 86, but error 87, that means you have enabled your primary managed identity, but have not restarted your instance yet. Ask me how I know.
Well, let's be serious. Does the error message tell you what the actual error is, or is
it does
just
not.
Like
so if you do not,
right?
If you never hit that checkbox, it's fairly open. It will tell you, well, you do not have primary managed identity enabled. If you're in an Azure VM, do this. If you're in an Arc VM, do that. That's fairly straightforward. If you enable it and don't restart, that's when it's giving you that. To be quite fair, when you enable the managed identity, the portal tells you need to restart your instance. I just don't ever listen to people telling me what to do. So that's how I ended up there. So anyways,
I've learned.
I know. So all I'm doing is create credential, again, matching my URL here with identity, managed identity. So I'm still not providing any password or anything. And I think that's the beauty of it, because previously when you were doing backup to URL, you would need a SAS token or something like that to authenticate against it, which still means you have a password that you need to manage. So you have a password that you actually need to recycle every couple of weeks, every couple of days, every couple of hours, every couple of years, depending on how long your SAS tokens are valid.
I only do 10-year SAS tokens, Ben.
That's a perfect idea, especially since you can't really manage and delete them. So once they're out there, they're out there. So good luck with that strategy, Anthony. So now I can do backup database, backup restore to URL. Exact same code as up here. Fire that up. And boom, there we go. And if I go back here, do a refresh, there's my backup restore. The other thing I had to do to make this work is, since we're in Azure, I had to provide access to my managed identity. So if I go to check access, check for a managed identity, Arc, CTP 2.1, it's going to show me this is a storage blob data contributor, which allows for read, write, and delete, and so on.
Hmm.
I could have been more specific, like, for example, I'm only going to let that thingy write. Then I could not do restores, but only write backups, or vice versa. I'm only allowing restore. All kinds of options here, obviously. For what we're trying to do here, doing a backup and doing a restore, that makes the most sense. I was using one of the built-in roles. And just like that, I could go ahead and restore my AW 2022 because I'm doing AdventureWorks LT 2022 from that almost same URL, moving
Okay.
my files because I'm storing everything in C program files as one does with best practice approaches in my demo VM.
What is happening?
See, I could have cheated and just created like an additional drive letter or move everything from C to F and create a F data
Hmm.
folder or whatever. I'm being honest here. And honestly, for what I'm showing here, I think what I'm doing is fine. At the same time, do not follow me for more tips on organizing your SQL files,
Well,
I
I
guess
mean,
is what I'm
last
saying.
episode we had 10-year self-signed certificates. This episode we have 10-year SaaS tokens, and now we have
No, we store
C
everything
program
in C program
files.
files.
What could go wrong?
I think what people are learning over time from these episodes is not to take any advice from me when it comes to best practices and organizing and managing theirs. Ban the non-DBA. I think that is a great job description.
Yeah,
However, in all fairness, I kind of see what I did wrong here, and I still
mhm.
believe for what we're trying to do here, this is fair.
It's fine. It's fine.
Thank you.
We'll just put some mount points under there. Shh, don't tell anybody.
That might be another option, exactly.
And the only way to make this actually worse.
Perfect idea. Well, not the only way. I could think of other ways to make this worse, but not by much. So, I mean, I could
Right.
store them in C Windows System 32, for example.
I mean, what could go wrong?
I got a list. How much time have you got? Anyways,
I mean, as long as we want.
no, I'm good. I'm good. I don't
Okay.
want to spill all my secrets. So, this was a quick one. But if we go back 2 weeks when we did that ARC enablement,
Hmm.
that single checkbox, this is what facilitated that. And we're going to
Yeah.
see more things on these lines, especially around the system managed identity. And I
Hmm.
think that's just going to make so many things so much easier around the integration between the on-prem and the cloud world, being
Right.
it Entra ID authentication, being it writing a backup, or being it, for example, mirroring to Fabric,
Oh boy.
just as an idea.
So to get this functionality, Ben, we did a couple of things. What we turned on Azure Arc managed identity. We created the credential with managed identity. We then went added the IAM role, and then we ran a backup. This is pretty easy to get to
Yep.
this kind of significant result here, right?
This was a DBA episode, and even I could do it.
Here we are. Here
There
we
we are.
are. Is it time, Ben?
It is time. This was a quick one. Let's play the music.
Anthony and